Hello again. We're looking at problem number 3 found on page 596 of your Geometry Part 2 textbook. This is actually in lesson 9-7. This says we're finding similarity. Now, we're not finding congruence. Congruence means that all the angles are the same and all the sides are the same. That's a little bit stronger statement than similarity. Similarity says all the angles are the same, but the sides must be proportional to each other. So in this one it says, is there a similarity transformation that would map PAQ, which is the smaller one here, to TNO, which is this one right here. And then, excuse me, if so, it wants us to identify the similarity transformations and then write a similarity statement, and then if it's not, then explain. So, first of all, you can see here that PA does not equal TN. TN is a little bit longer. So that means that there's a scale factor. There's some number that you're going to have to multiply PA by to end up making it TN. So, if we dilate PAQ by whatever that scale factor is, then it would end up being this, because all the sides looks like they would be proportional to whatever that, we don't know what that K number is, or that K factor is, or that number, but we do know that if we use that, then PA will equal TN, and since it also, remember dilations preserve angle measures, we can see in there that P prime is really the same as T. Okay. So notice that angle is the same as that one. So P prime, which is what this is really be, they're calling it T here. And in the same way, A prime is the same as N because of the double tick marks here. And so if you see that that's congruent to that, and angle A is congruent to N, and this is not the same size, but this is proportional to this, then there is a rule in the previous chapters that says by angle side angle you can prove that these two triangles here are similar to each other. So triangle PAQ or P prime A prime Q prime would be congruent to TNO by angle side angle. That means if this got multiplied by whatever that number that made it big enough to be the same as TNO, then you would have angle side angle. So this means that there's a sequence of rigid motions that map triangle P prime A prime Q prime, which is just the enlargement of this one, to TNO, that it would become literally that angle right there. So there is a dilation that maps PAQ to P prime A prime Q prime, and a sequence of rigid motions that map that onto TNO. Therefore, there is a composition of dilation of rigid motions that maps PAQ onto TNO. All that is really very wordy, but what it's saying is because two angles and an included side are similar to two angles and an included side that is proportional, then that's enough to say that these two triangles are similar to each other. Okay. Now, in number 3, it says, is there a similarity relationship between JKL here and RST, which is here? Okay. And if so, tell me the transformation. Well, I got to looking. Remember that if these are, since no angles were given here, then there's also another way that we could rely on it, and that is using side, side, side. Now, to use side, side, side similarity rule, all three sides have to be the same proportion to each other. So again, if I compared the small side to the small side of this one, then that would be 10 is to 12. And if I compared the medium side, of this one to the medium side of this one, then that means then 12 would compare to 16. And the long side of this one would compare to the long side of this one, which is 16 over 20. Now, if I reduce each one of these to their lowest term so that we can compare them, this one would become 5 over 6. Since 4 will go into both of that, that would become 3/4. And since 4 will go into both of that, that would become 4/5. And 4/5 does not equal 3/4. That does not equal 5/6. Since all those proportions are different, then the answer here would be no, these are not similar to each other. Regardless of what it may play on the eye, these are not similar to each other because they are not proportional to each other over here, as we've proven. So therefore, I can't write a similarity statement because they are not similar to each other because their sides are not proportional. Okay? Hope this was helpful.